So, this happened a few months ago, and it's still one of the funniest experiences I've had in a while. I was at my local grocery store, and it was one of those days where everything just felt a bit off. As I was wandering through the aisles, I noticed an elderly lady struggling to reach a can on the top shelf. Being the helpful person I am, I walked over and offered to grab it for her. She smiled, thanked me, and went on her way, and I felt pretty good about myself. A few minutes later, as I was browsing the cereal aisle, I felt a tap on my shoulder. I turned around and saw the same lady, looking a bit distressed. She pointed to a box of cereal on the highest shelf and asked if I could help her again. I gladly obliged, feeling like a superhero for the second time that day. But then it happened. As I reached for the box, I somehow knocked over an entire display of cereal boxes. It was like slow motion as boxes of Cheerios, Frosted Flakes, and Fruit Loops started tumbling down, creating a loud, cascading avalanche of breakfast foods. I stood there, buried up to my knees in cereal boxes, trying to process what just happened. The elderly lady, meanwhile, burst out laughing. She said, "Well, I guess you're not as tall as you think." Her laugh was infectious, and soon other shoppers in the aisle started laughing too. I couldn't help but join in, even though my face was probably redder than a box of Wheaties. As I began to dig myself out of the cereal mountain, a store employee came over with a bemused expression. He sighed, grabbed a broom, and together we started cleaning up the mess. The elderly lady stayed for a bit, still chuckling and making jokes about my cereal catastrophe. Eventually, she patted me on the shoulder and said, "Thanks for the laugh, dear. You made my day." Now, every time I go to that grocery store, I steer clear of the cereal aisle and hope no one remembers me as the guy who got buried in breakfast. But sometimes when I'm feeling down, I think back to that day and can't help but smile at the absurdity of it all. It's a funny reminder that even the most embarrassing moments can become great stories to tell.